On the 8th of November 2016, the people of the United States will vote for the next president. Well, kind of. They will vote for electors, which will then determine the next president through the Electoral College, because democracy.
This election is a very special one, because it demonstrates what happens when a society becomes so lazy that it forgoes leadership for entertainment.
This entertainment is in the form of Trump, the pride of misled, uninformed conservatives, and the bane of pretty much everyone else. Trump goes up against the Democrat Hillary Clinton, whose political ambition is matched only by her super PAC funding and support from executives who represent virtuous companies like Goldman Sachs and Lehman Brothers.
And we can't quite sum up this election without mentioning Bernie Sanders, the hero of the 1% of the 99%ers who don't quite accept that the Occupy movement is over.
The self-proclaimed social democrat and presumable vegan is widely hailed as a revolutionary and has massive appeal to those with massive student loans to pay off.
Sanders is basically the eyewash. He seems cool and convenient, but is really just a more expensive version of what we already have.
Much like the stereotypical college frat bro, America's "fuck it, I'll do it later" attitude has led to total hopeless panic before midterms, or in this case, the election. But you really can't blame us. Whether it's Trump's insecurity about his hands, or Hillary's inconsistent opinions being sold to the highest bidder, this election is like a good episode of Saturday Night Live. It's pretty funny, but at the end it's 1 a.m. and you have to be up early next morning. So it's time to wake up, America, and move to Canada. Donald Trump was born on June 14th, 1946 in a cave under a bridge. Armed with a small loan of $1 million and even smaller hands, Trump built a twice-bankrupt empire which is worth anywhere from $3 billion to $10 billion, depending on his mood. The Don has captivated audiences all around the West Virginia, with his powerful rhetoric and universally ignorant views on things like
immigration.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. Well, it's coming from more than Mexico. It's coming from all over South and Latin America, and it's coming probably from the Middle East.
That's right. The Syrian Mexican raping drug cartel is coming for us. We better build a wall.
But who's going to pay for it?
And Mexico's going to pay for the wall.
But what about guns?
Do Trump supporters like them?
Let's bring in Mark Limoges right now. He's a gun store owner in New Hampshire and a Donald Trump supporter. In fact, he gave Mr. Trump a custom rifle last night. Mr. Limoges, thank you for joining us. My first question was, why did you give a gun to Donald Trump? But what do you got there?
We have a custom AR-15 rifle built right at our shop in Claremont, New Hampshire, put together by our one of our co-owners, John.
What about his hands?
Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem.
I wonder if Mr. Trump has heard about Freud's theory on the male preoccupation with size. Now, let's look at some of Mr. Trump's totally not small at all towers he's built over the years.
Trump is like the big bully on the playground. He uses his size and obnoxiousness to bully others.
Let's look at him bullying Jeb Bush.
The Trade Center came down
during your brother's reign. My mother.
Remember that.
Hold on. My mom is the strongest woman I know.
She should
This
be
is
running.
not about my family.
The weakest person on the stage by far on illegal immigration is Jeb Bush. They
Disparage me. That's fine. I don't really
spend
care.
a little more money on the commercials.
That's a matter of principle, and I'll tell you.
The biggest liar. You probably are worse than Jeb Bush. Jeb doesn't really believe I'm unhinged. He said that very simply because he has failed in this campaign. It's been a total disaster. Nobody cares. And frankly, I'm the most solid person up here. Let me just, he wants to be a tough guy. A lot of times, you'll have, and it doesn't work very well with
How tough is it to take property from an elderly woman?
Let me talk. Quiet.
How tough?
Poor Jeb, always getting his ass beat on the playground.
Trump is well integrated with the youths in the social media. He once said, "I know words. I know all the best words."
Let's look at some of his best words on Twitter.
Now let's take a look at Trump's opponent, a woman who can do anything a man can do, but in heels and a pantsuit. Hillary Clinton was manufactured in Chicago, Illinois in 1947. She attended Yale Law School and married future president and womanizer Bill Clinton. After becoming the First Lady of Arkansas and First Lady of the United States, Clinton ran for president in 2008 but lost to Barack Obama. She served as Secretary of State for the Obama administration from 2009 to 2013. According to the Wall Street Journal, she spent her time as Secretary of State helping small businesses like General Electric, ExxonMobil, and Microsoft achieve the American dream. These same companies were among the 60 major corporations Clinton lobbied for in the State Department, and collectively, they gave almost $30 million to the Clinton's nonprofit foundation. Clinton's corporate ties have created quite the brouhaha among both Democrats and Republicans who don't want to see any more Clintons in the White House. In addition to running the State Department like it was listed on NASDAQ, Hillary is also known for changing her mind on major issues like gay marriage.
I do not support gay marriage.
LGBT Americans are our colleagues, our teachers, our soldiers, our friends, our loved ones. And they are full and equal citizens and deserve the rights of citizenship. That includes marriage.
And of course, there are her famously controversial Benghazi lies.
There was never a recommendation from any intelligence official in our government, from any official in the State Department, or from any other person with knowledge of our presence in Benghazi to shut down Benghazi.
But that statement is misleading because this classified cable, first obtained by Fox News, shows that there was an emergency meeting in Benghazi 3 weeks before the 2012 attack. And at that meeting, State Department and CIA personnel discussed suspending operations for the consulate and moving State Department personnel in with the CIA, where the security was much higher.
Bear in mind, Trump and Clinton aren't the only controversial candidates out there. They're just the only ones people actually give a shit about. Let's take a look at some of the other controversial candidates that are running for president.
Bob Whitaker.
Randall J. Bissell.
Temperance Lance Council. Sam Till.
Now that we know a little bit about the candidates, let's see what some of the world's brightest young minds have to say about them.
So what do you think of Donald Trump?
I think he's orange. I'm not convinced that his hair is actually real. I think that his facial features and the way he talks is really funny. And I don't like what he says at all. Not in the slightest bit.
I think Donald Trump is a fool. I think that the things he believes in, the things that he wants our country to believe in are not only racist, anti-Semitic, sexist, and I think it would be best for him to sort of just, I don't even know, it's just, he's so absurd, there's just like no way to describe it. The fact that he's made it this far in the presidential race is concerning to me.
Donald Trump has gotten, I don't know, he's done a good job at getting together a lot of angry people. However, what he says is really not only unconstitutional, but like offensive for so many people. So I'm even surprised he's gotten so much support. But I don't think it's going to be enough to win. But in general, he's just not presidential, and it would be a joke he was elected.
Donald Trump is one of the dumbest people that I've ever seen on TV, and I watch a lot of TV.
I think that his views and his comments get a little out of hand at times, but personally I find his attitude and tone pretty entertaining.
I think he's stupid, and I would rather move to Canada than have him be president.
I think that a lot of what he says is more aimed at being a businessman rather than a politician, and it's kind of selling himself rather than doing something that will be good for Americans as a whole.
He's just not a great person, so I feel like he shouldn't win the presidency.
When I think of Donald Trump, I think of disappointment, because I don't know, it just really confuses me about how our society is like supporting a man with such awful views and reforms, and it just really boggles my mind.
So I think Donald Trump has a lot of appeals to Americans because he's kind of exposing how the middle class, especially middle white America, is who they don't benefit from dominant white culture. They're kind of ignorant.
What do you think of Hillary Clinton?
Well, so basically I think out of the three candidates left, she's pretty much just the lesser of three evils. And I mean, I'm not voting, and if I could vote, I guess I would vote for her, but only because I don't want either Bernie or Trump to win. I think she's also the only one who could put up a fight against Trump. I think Bernie would just get demolished.
She's a bit untrustworthy. You know, she has an email problem. She might need to follow the rules a little more. Maybe read some more books. Learn more. I think that she has potential. She's very knowledgeable when it comes to being a candidate. She has most background. She's been Secretary of State. She knows the system. I think she needs to inspire people more. You know, that's where Bernie Sanders and Trump are beating her. She's not very inspirational. I'm with her is her slogan. It needs to be more emphatic, if you will. And I think that she has potential. She has the background, but she just needs to clean up her email problem. Be more emphatic, emotional. Be more inspiring. And just go hard.
Well, Crooked Hillary is quite a character. I think I think the first words that come to mind when I think of Hillary Clinton are liar, ideologue, and she has sort of this idea that the ends always justify the means. So she's absolutely hungry for personal power. She feels that she's entitled to the White House. I think that's been quite clear. We saw that in sort of the arrogance that she projected in 2008, which I think actually turned a lot of people off, right?
I think that in terms of her running for president, I think that she's by far the most qualified candidate that I've ever seen, especially this year. She knows the job better than anyone else, and I would feel honored to call her my president.
I think Hillary Clinton is probably the best person to do the job of President of the United States. I think she is a strong lady, and I feel like she can inspire a lot of people. I think she appeals to a lot of different groups. Like some young people don't necessarily like her, but I feel like she can definitely change that because she can surround herself with a bunch of the right people to get the job done.
So what do you think of Bernie Sanders?
So when I first started hearing about him, it was pretty exciting to see some of the policies that he had, but I kind of started feeling a little alienated with it. I thought he was kind of pushing too hard for some of his policies. I thought that wouldn't be compatible getting through Congress and stuff like that, and I wasn't a fan of the way he attacked Hillary Clinton on some things, and I just kind of wish that there was a stronger progressive candidate.
I think Bernie Sanders is an honest man and an honest politician.
Well, the thing about Bernie Sanders is that this country has never. This is the first time that a full-throated socialist, I mean, he's actually a communist. Socialism is sort of a lighter sandbox version of communism, And it's the first time that a real communist has gotten this far in any presidential election. And that, because we see that, a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters are young people, and it's sort of a product of what we've seen in our colleges and universities, is that, sort of capitalism is something that's looked down upon, it's something that's attacked. But I think at least Bernie Sanders is honest. I mean, he's honest about his socialism. He's not a serial liar, unlike his opponent in the Democrat Party, Hillary Clinton. So I'd say that actually, while Bernie Sanders is, his ideas, his policies are completely off the mark and completely impractical and stupid, rather, in my view. At least he's an honest person. And whereas Hillary Clinton, you have bad ideas and you have a bad person. I'd say you have not necessarily a bad person and and terrible ideas in Bernie Sanders.
I think of him as a little idealistic. I think he has good theories, maybe a little socialistic, and his financial or economic, not understanding, but he hasn't really thought it out too much and it won't work out well. But I think he's a good guy and he genuinely wants what's best for the country.
So I think that Bernie Sanders is a kind man who believes a lot, wants to be very progressive, but I feel like his economic plan for taxes and just economic plan in general will bankrupt our economy because we are not doing that well right now.
I believe Bernie Sanders has been instrumental to the liberal revolution of 21st century American politics. Largely, he has inspired a new wave of grassroots involvement in the political system, and I think that's incredibly important that so many millennials have gotten so riled up about either wanting him as president or not wanting him as president that he is essentially, hopefully, going to improve the voter turnout of the general election greatly.
He's dragging a lot of the delegates away from Hillary, but it's irritating. And I think, in the grand scheme of things, he's helping the Democratic Party by creating a legitimate contest between two candidates. But his supporters are so aggressive, and it's just something about him that's off, Something's off.
I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter, even though I don't think he has even a slight chance of winning the presidency, which I'm okay with because I think he's been largely a message candidate, and I think that's something that this country needed. He speaks for the regular American citizen, which so many political appointees don't. And I think he's been really instrumental in pulling Hillary to the left and making her stand her ground on these important issues when she has a history of flip-flopping. So even though I don't think he'll win, I think he's been really necessary and really important.
We sent out a survey to the students of Murray, and these are the results we got. When asked the question, do you consider yourself more of a Democrat or a Republican? 84.8% of students responded Democrat, 7.2% responded Republican, and 8% responded other. We also asked the question, who do you want to be the next president of the United States? 34.7% said Bernie Sanders, 60.2% said Hillary Clinton, and only 5.1% said Donald Trump.
We also spoke to some experts in the fields of international politics and global finance.
We spoke to Vali Nasser of Johns Hopkins and the Brookings Institute, who said a Trump presidency would be dangerous and problematic for the United States. We also spoke to an executive at the World Bank, who wished to remain anonymous, and when asked what 2 words sum up Hillary Clinton, said tough and resourceful. But let's not blame Drake for all our problems. Instead, let's be productive and see who stands out in the first ever presidential debate here in my house.
Thank you for having me here, Chad. Let me just say, what a cute little house you have. What is it, 10,000 square feet?
Oh, Donald, size isn't all that matters.
I disagree. Alright, on to the first topic. As president, what would you do to tackle the issues of homelessness and poverty in our nation? Ms. Clinton, let's start with you. Thanks, Chad. I'd build a wall. I build the big wall to keep out the homelessness and the poverties. And I make the homelessness and the poverties pay for this wall.
Donald, a wall is not the solution to everything. I would tackle the problems at their roots. You know, the problem with America today is the lack of a tasty beverage that is not only free of calories, but also free of caffeine. Coca-Cola, an American company.
You know, I've never seen a thin person drink Diet Coke.
Fuck you, Donald.
Let's keep this civil.
You're right. You know, this reminds me of a few years ago in Pakistan, when me and the rest of SEAL Team 6 were roping down into the compound where Osama bin Laden was hiding.
You were not in SEAL Team 6.
How do you know?
Because I'm team captain. I killed Osama bin Laden.
Did you do it with a Walmart brand rifle? Durable and gets the job done.
Good. You people are awful.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move to education. Bernie Sanders! Education should be free for everyone. To close the wage gap. Vanilla wafers, pudding cups. Where am I?
He's having a senior moment.
He's lost his senile little mind. Let's put him out of his misery.
I'm afraid I have some bad news, everybody. This just in. Bernie Sanders, the Democratic Socialist candidate from Vermont, was killed just minutes ago when a pack of wolves entered his house. He offered them free education at an accredited university, but they mauled him and ate his face.
On behalf of the Clinton Foundation and ExxonMobil, I would like to extend my deepest sympathies to the Sanders family during this difficult time.
I think we have to seriously consider the possibility that these wolves were radicalized in their local mosques.
God damn it!
We need to build a wall.
Fuck it, you all are awful. I'm moving to Canada.